Join our Patreon page at patreon.com/comics for fun and profit. Why, you ask? Well, because we are on episode 700 and something, and we've been cranking these out for a decade for you. So, hey, support us. Throw us a shekel or two. Toss a buck our way. Toss $3 our way. Toss 5 or 10. Your choice. You can support us at any level, and that level gets you in our Slack channel. You get to be a part of our daily conversations that extend beyond our weekly podcast. You get entered into contests. We've given away multiple 9.8 slabbed comics over the years. We enjoy providing early access to our various episodes. We have exclusive access to shows that never see the light of day elsewhere. Video shows, review shows, exclusive episodes just for our patrons. Access to Drew's Comic Project. Really more of a curse and a burden for patrons, but you get to see my fledgling attempts at making comics, panel pages, process stuff, even signed and remark original prints if you want. I can hook you up with that sort of thing. So there's tons of reasons to join Patreon. If you like what we're doing and you want to help us out, server costs ain't cheap. Kyle and I have been doing this, like I said, for 10 years. We love it, but we could always use a little motivation. A little something, a little wet our whistle, a little something to give us a taste. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/comicsfunprofit.
Aloha, this is Jason from Hawaii. Welcome to a special edition of the Comics for Fun and Profit podcast. In this episode, I will be interviewing Peabody Award winner and American Film Institute Award winner Rodney Barnes. Now, Rodney is here to talk about his latest comic book from Marvel, The Mandalorian. First issue comes out on July 13th, and issue 2 comes out on July 17th. Rodney, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing really, really well.
No, Rodney, I'm just going to say thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Just thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah. Very welcome.
So, listeners, I'm just, Rodney has an amazing history in show business, and I'm just going to give a real quick rundown. He's a screenwriter, producer. He's done Marvel's Runaways, Wu-Tang, the American Saga, just to name a couple. He is also the executive producer, writer, and actor, because I know you did a little sports reporting thing on HBO's Winning Time: The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. Mm-hmm. Let's see, and also too, I know you started. Correct me if I'm wrong. You started to write comics in 2017. Mm-hmm. You haven't, in the last 5 years, you haven't done an extensive work, like 2 volumes of Quincredible. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Of course, the very popular Philadelphia and the Blackula graphic novel from Zombie Love Studios. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And also, too, you are also a podcaster for the official Winning Time podcast. Is that correct?
I did. I hosted that podcast.
Yes. And then I'm going to ask, did I miss anything, or do you want to add anything?
No. There's a lot of stuff. So what you covered gives them an idea of what I've done.
Yes, because I'm going to say if I covered everything,
we'd be like the whole time would be going. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, before we get into the questions, I want to give a big shout out to Carlos Gutierrez. I hope I'm pronouncing his last name correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Carlos is Rodney's assistant. Carlos, thank you very much for setting up this interview. And thank you for your assistance. Carlos, thank you very much. Rodney, I'm going to ask, do you want to add anything to that?
No. Love Carlos. Thanks, Carlos.
Now, also to listeners, I want to let you know that I did get some of my information about Rodney from, Rodney, I got some of the information from your Wikipedia page and the YouTube podcast Black Comics Lord. That interview was done on February 17th, 2022. And listeners, if you get a chance, please check out that incredible interview. I listened to it. It was very good. Rodney, there was one question. Paul Crane, one of the Black Comics Lord's co-hosts, I want to ask a follow-up question, and I'm joking on this part. He kind of asked, do you sleep? Because, oh my God, you have a lot of stuff.
I don't sleep. I work a lot. I wish I slept more. My doctor wants me to sleep more, actually. I need more sleep. Yes.
Okay. Now, where can listeners follow you on social media?
At the Rodney Barnes on Twitter and on Instagram, or rodneybarnes.com or zombielovestudios.com, the websites.
Okay. Now, I know you grew up in Annapolis, Maryland, and on June 24th of 2022, this year, you received the key to the city. And now during this special event, they showed a short video of, covering your early days in Annapolis. Mm-hmm. How did it feel getting this honor?
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, anytime you're honored by your hometown and the mayor and everyone, they went through so much and they were so gracious and all of that for me, seeing my old friends from high school and family, it's very, very moving. Anytime you come from a small town and your roots are still there, it's always great to have some connection that will last long past me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I saw that posting on Twitter, that was really nice.
Yeah, it was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Okay, now listeners, we're just going to jump right in. We're going to talk about The Mandalorian. Now, and Rodney, I'm not being sarcastic. May I just ask if you can tell listeners who may not have seen the Disney Plus show, what is the story about?
The Mandalorian gets tasked to basically go about. It's hard to describe without giving it away if you haven't seen it. But basically, Baby Yoda, he's supposed to go get Baby Yoda originally to take care of him, and then ends up taking care of him.
Yes.
I guess that's the easiest way to describe it. Mm-hmm. But there are other folks who are trying to get in the way and also trying to accomplish the same goal.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to ask, how big of a Star Wars fan are you? Because I know you've written the Lando miniseries and so forth.
Yeah, and IG-88. I'm a huge fan. I'm really appreciative of the opportunities that Lucasfilm has given me to play in their sandbox. It's an incredible universe. The fans are incredible, and it's always great. Whenever I get an opportunity to work there, it's fantastic.
That is great. Now, well, I'm going to ask, when the original Star Wars movie that came out in 1977, did you see it more than once in the theater?
I did. I saw it at the Circle Theater in Annapolis, Maryland. Back then, there were long lines.
Oh my
it was
God,
only like at one theater at a time and one showing at a time. So you had to wait in line every time to see it again. It was huge. It was huge. And, I watched it on a loop, and it seemed like it was there forever. It was there for like months and months. And it was always sold out or near capacity. And as a kid, I just ate it up.
Oh, yeah. Now, while growing up, did you read Splinter of the Mind's Eye?
I did. Alan Dean Foster. I think it's here on my desk somewhere.
Oh my God, you still have your original copy?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. It's somewhere within reach, but yeah, I have it somewhere.
Wow, that is great. Because I got rid of mine a long time ago. Oh my.
Yeah, I have the hardback and the paperback.
Yeah. Okay. Now, how did you get this? Now the adaptation of The Mandalorian. How did you get this awesome gig?
We had been talking about me doing something with The Mandalorian for a long time, and there was always an issue, I think, because the shows are ongoing, and you don't want to pitch something that they're about to do on the TV shows, and they're very they're very tight with the canon, to make sure that things are exactly as they should be.
Yes.
So it probably took like a year and a half, 2 years to actually get the assignment, because at first it was going to be an original, and then the safest way to go about it was to do an adaptation. So then I got the adaptation, and then the process, the difficult process was to take an hour of television and crunch it into 30 pages of comic.
Yes.
And still keep the pacing relatively tight and to, to make it flow like it did on television.
Yes. And then how did you hook up with your artist? Now I'm going to try to pronounce his name. George Ginty?
Yeah, George's Janty. George's was they chose George. The same thing with Paolo Villanelli, who worked with me on Lando. They choose the artists, and we just sort of team together.
Okay, and then this is just I'm just asking this. Did you and George's, did you guys get full access to everything, like ships, the design of the ships, full scripts?
I did. I got access to the scripts. I'm sure he got access to anything he needed from Lucasfilms as to what ships and the specifics to design them and draw them and do all of that stuff. But yeah, I had access to the scripts.
Oh, okay, all right. Now I'm slowly wrapping things. I'm going to start wrapping things up a little bit because I want to touch on a couple other things. Now I'm joking on this part. In your contract, did you ask Marvel and Lucasfilms to make you an actual Mandalorian suit so you can put it on and really get into character?
I would never ask them. I'm a big guy, so I don't know if they, I would never put them through all of that. But if I could, and it was part of the contract, I definitely would have.
All right. All right. So, Rodney, I'm going to move on because I want to talk to you a little bit about Kolchak, the Night Stalker. I know you contributed a story to the 50th anniversary of, so I'm going to ask, what did you love about that show? Because I'm an original fan too.
It was one of those things. I've been really, really fortunate over the course of my life that things would come to my attention that I'm already a fan, but it was like the perfect storm of, it was late night TV. It was a movie of the week.
Yes.
It was originally vampires. I think it was Night Stalker, Night Strangler, whichever one came first, Jack the Ripper, and then I think it was the vampire. And Richard Matheson, who I loved and still love to this day. It was everything. Darrin McGavin was the perfect protagonist in regards to, he had a sense of humor, but he still seemed committed and passionate to the task at hand. The way that it was shot, everything about it was perfect for 8-year-old me to fall in love with it. I think that those two movie of the weeks and then Salem's Lot, the miniseries, were like perfect child fodder for me to sort of eat up. So perfect stuff.
Oh, Rodney, I hear you, because I remember when I first saw the two Night Stalker movies and then Salem's Lot, especially with Salem's Lot where the kid is scratching on the window, come out. Oh, God, that freaked me out.
Little Johnny Glick. Yes. Loading.
All right. Now I'm going to continue on. I'm going to talk to you just briefly about you're also host of your own podcast, Winning Time, the official podcast for the to the HBO show. Who came up with the idea to do the official podcast?
Hyper Object Industries, one of the producers on our show. They also do a companion podcast with Pineapple Street Studios and Pineapple Street Studios, HBO, and Hyper Object. They do the behind the scenes podcast, and they asked me if I would be interested in hosting. And I'd never hosted before. I've been on plenty, but I was like, why not? I knew everybody, so it was sort of a layup because I work with the same people every day, and it's like having a conversation with people that you know. So that part was relatively simple, but it's work. It's real work. After about 2 or 3 in, I'm like, this is a job. But it was really fun. I really appreciate it. I hope I get to do it again in season 2.
Okay, all right. Now, like Rodney, I'm going to start wrapping this up because I know you are a very busy man.
Season 2 of Winning Time. We're writing it as we speak. So yes, I jumped away from that.
No, but thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. You're very welcome.
Now, two more, actually three more questions. So, I know you're a big comic book fan. You love comics. Favorite convention moment, whether as a fan or as a creator?
I think when I was in New York and I was doing the stuff for the Falcon, my first comic book ever, and it was so weird to be sitting with a bunch of other creators on after having been on the other side and just being a fan. It was weird to be sitting there with other writers and artists talking about our books that were coming out. It was that would be the best experience because it was the oddest experience.
Okay. Now, have you and your family been to Hawaii?
When I worked on the show, my wife and kids, we were in Honolulu for 2 months.
Oh my God.
Did 2 months there, and I've been to the Kealani. I went to on my own. I used to vacation there. And there was another place in Maui. I forgot the name of it. I used to go to a few times a year. But love Hawaii. Beautiful place, that Hawaii.
Oh, that is so cool. Last question. Any closing words to our listeners?
Just that I appreciate all the support. I hope you guys dig The Mandalorian. Put a lot of work into it. George's art is fantastic. You know, I love the Star Wars universe. And again, I hope to always play in it. And any of the other stuff that's coming up, I hope you guys check it out. And I appreciate all the love.
Now, Rodney, I wish you continued success, you know, in comics and in the entertainment industry. Mahalo. Thank you very much for your time. I mean, literally, thank you very much.
No, thank you, Jason.
You know,
I
and
appreciate it.
And Carlos, I want to give you a big shout out. Thank you very much for setting up this interview. If you are a new comic book reader or a lifelong comic book reader, please check out The Mandalorian. It comes out, the first issue comes out this July. Drew, the co-host of Comics for Fun and Profit. Drew, thank you very much for putting this episode together. And I want to thank you, the listeners. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for listening to this episode. Until next time, guys, aloha.
Our LCS is Cowabunga Comics out of Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, and their mail order company, Deep Discount Comics. And we went there, and we were actually invoice number 00001. We were the very first their very first customer, which was kind of cool. They've been nothing short of fantastic, customer service wise. Discounts, they were very close, if not the same or better than DCBS on a lot of things. Over and above, customer service wise, always taking care of us, going the extra mile, so responsive, getting instantaneous responses back to questions about things, and to the point where knowing the stuff you like and anticipating your needs and having it suggested that you might want to add this to your order already before you even have to think about it. That's kind of cool. Really quality experience. So we love working with Cowabunga and Deep Discount, and that's why they're in our show notes every single episode and have been for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes. That we leave them there because we like them. They're cool, good people. That's why they're in there. By God, they'd tell you to, if you've got a local comic book shop that you love, stay with them, because everybody needs to support their local comic shops. But if you're looking, check them out. You can check them out in the show notes. There's plenty of ways to get a hold of them. Either get on their list, just so you can check and see what kind of FOC and pre-order stuff they have and the discounts, and they'll send it to you each month, get you on that email list. And you can check out their shop, because they have a great shop of exclusive Cowabunga variants. Amazing stuff. Yes, they've always been there for us, and we take them for granted. So there you go. Now you know.